Oops, better turn that. Hey, everybody.
Hello. I'm turning you on my phone here so I can see.
Hello.
Looks like we got couple people in here. Who's in here?
I see my sister-in-law, Shelly.
I see
can you see and hear us?
I see Eric in here.
Well, hello, Eric Diva.
Hey, Eric.
He's at work, just chilling.
Wow.
Nice.
Sup, Eric?
Well, I'm sure he's not just chilling. I was talking to him about an hour ago and he was busy running around. He had a call that he had to go grab. So
while we're waiting for people to come in,
Hi,
I know you saw the reel. Did you see the two of them?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
That face.
Well, the little bunny, we have a little bunny.
Music. Hello.
So we have a little bunny inside being bottle fed right now. Aww. And he or she, we don't know now. It's got a unisex name. It's Michael. And oh no, there's Abigail calling me. Oh no.
Hey Danny, Wicked Awesome Gardening. Good to see you.
Anyway, they took the little bunny back outside to the little baby bunny so it can hang out. And it's so excited when it goes out with its siblings. It like jumps around. Aww. Like it's the cutest little thing. And they called it Michael because on The Office, have you ever seen The Office, the show?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, so this little bunny runs around like doing parkour in the little pen that we have it in. And so every time we see it jumping around, we're like, parkour. And so Abigail's like, Mom, I need a unisex name. And I said, well, Michael can be a girl's name or a boy's name. Mm-hmm. And so she named the baby Michael. So it's this little, 4-week-old baby bunny this 4-week-old little baby bunny that just runs around like crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's what's wrong. She just texted me. Oh man.
Well, here's the good news, Monica. Tammy has what she calls a hard stop.
A hard stop.
We're here for an hour.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I sent the cute little bunny to you, Tammy, for later.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're gonna die. You won't stop watching it.
Oh. The bunny video is cute. And then the other one, there's two of them. And there's one where he's like getting right up in my little boxer's face. And he's like, hey. And it was just the cutest thing. It makes me laugh every time I see it. Eric and I were watching a bunch of them the other night.
How many rabbits do you have?
So, sorry, I was just responding to her. She's outside with the rabbits now, apparently. The trash wasn't taken out, and the 11-year-old is running to try to take the trash out while the dogs are outside barking. That's my life right now. She's like, Mom, the dogs are out. Jacob's running for the trash. We forgot to take it out, and the dogs are outside. I'm like, so we actually have so I'll say we, because I'm obviously owner, but I don't take care of them really. My daughter and my 11-year-old really do all the hard work on that one. And Eric comes up behind and comes in for the save. But we have I want to say that Abigail probably has, we're going to say 18.
Oh my word.
Pens, maybe we have 18 pens. I don't know if every pen is full.
Wow.
We just had to, put down one of them that was a long time mama, but she's got quite a few bucks and does, and we alternate. So I think she does usually between 6 and 7, 6 does at a time, because we have like 5 or 6 bucks. So she has 6 does and then another 6 does. So she's got, she's probably got about 18 out there. And we kind of rotate their breeding cycles so that we have litters in kind of groupings. So we have quite a few rabbits out there. And because in the winter time, they don't always breed right away. Sometimes they get a little lazy. And I think some of our more mature does are about to be done their life of breeding. She bred I think 6 does and only 2 of them kindled. And so we're really having to take a hard look at what we have out there and how we're going to revamp that. So we have a lot of planning this year for our revamping.
Hi, Messina, Aya Valley Arts, Crafts, and Cooking. Thank you for joining us. And hi there, Time to Shine Homestead. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much for popping in. Hey, Barb, at Barb's Country Home. Good morning.
Well, Barb's here,
So I watched a little bit of both of y'all's different, the first week and the second week, but I didn't get a chance to watch all the video because I was actually listening to you while I was in the shower. That's my thing. I'll put on a video and like listen to it while I'm in the shower. So I end up listening to all the ads and everything too that pop up. So anybody that's out there that I'm listening to that's monetized typically gets all the ads played because I'm in the shower and I'm not touching my phone while I'm in the shower.
Yeah. So tell me, do you have any questions about the 7Fs before we ask you our questions?
I don't think so. I really like the way it's set up. I was looking at it and really looking at setting it up. And I do my one question, which I may have just missed it when we're explaining it, because I actually rewound it a few times when I did get out of the shower, I rewound to kind of hear. When you do the goal setting, the idea is the 7Fs, is it for the whole year? Are you setting your main goal for faith for the whole year and faith, family, finances, all of it for the whole year? Or are you breaking it up by month? Because in my mind,
my slice of heaven,
I was wondering, I'm like, well, can I just make these monthly goals and then reassess that goal each month?
That's how you do it. So you have like your big audacious goals, those things you really want to get done. And then you break them up into the smaller chunks so they can be the monthly goals. And some of them might have a finite endpoint. You know what I mean? Like I know, for example, if they're like, so my husband is part Cherokee. So all of our kids had to get, enrolled. I had to do all the paperwork, get their roll numbers and stuff. Obviously, when it's done, it's done. That's a finite endpoint. And so those kinds of tasks would have that finite endpoint. But that fell under family. That was something I needed to do for the family. And when that was done, that was done. I got my paperwork and then you wait for it to come through. But hey, my slice of heaven, thanks for joining us. But yeah, that's exactly what you do. You kind of think of your big goal and then you break it down into your monthly chunks. And even since we've been doing these meetings weekly, I call them meetings, our lives weekly, to me, this is like a working meeting because I'm like preparing for it. Where am I at? Kind of taking stock of my own, being accountable to myself for what I said I would get done in the past week. So you can even break those monthly chunks down into a weekly chunk. And then when you pop in here, your goals kind of, for me, my goal is be on top of what I said I was going to do. Or if it's something I didn't get to, I need to reassess what I thought was reasonable for a weekly goal for me, that's honestly the way that I look at it. I mean, it's us running our life instead of our life running us. To me, that's what it's all about. So you set your goals, but if it feels like whatever you thought you could do is not reasonable because something else is going to fall short, and you can see that as you assess your 7Fs, what's falling short, it helps you to kind of be like, maybe what I thought I could do every week is not reasonable, and I need to take another look at this.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. See, when I was listening and I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's for the whole year, but there's so many things that I think that this would work better for me if I did it monthly.
Yeah.
Because I have more, like I can see a goal and if it's a monthly goal, I feel like I need to grab that one. Yeah. Because as a year, it just feels more tangible and real to me as a monthly thing. And I do have a planner. I even left it outside this morning. I should have went and got it so I could bring it in and be like, I have a planner. So I have a planner. Yeah. I'm better on paper. I need paper. I enjoy, Eric is really goal oriented and driven when it comes to he can do technology. He's great with technology. Awesome. And he can take his phone and have it in his phone. And he says it to me all the time on the lives. He's like, didn't you see the note that I shared with you with all the questions for our guests? And I'm like, no, I don't. No. It's not in my 7Fs list, okay? I didn't prioritize that. I'm sorry, Eric. But no, like that's like he is the organized one. You should be talking to him, actually. I am not the organized one.
Hey, actually, though, this is a couple's activity. And I don't know if you heard on the one live where I did mine and then I did my husband's with him. I did. So what are you?
I heard you said you were kind of like, so what are you thinking about this? And he was like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do it. And then I, jot it down. But it was interesting to see that we had the same goals, but we did put some of them in different places.
Yeah.
So some things were clearly more important to him than they were to me. You know,
Sure.
he wants to make sure we travel. That's his big thing. Hey, Stuart's prepping. But
Eric
and
says,
for him,
I
he
don't
wants to
believe
do it
in.
for fun. He wants us to do a bunch of camping and stuff like that for fun. And to him, that is a priority. That is his time with me, and that's a priority, you know. Whereas he had that under family, and I put it under fun. And so that kind of tells you who's gauging that priority there. Hi, Homestead Family Reclaim. Thanks for popping in.
Well, Eric says, I don't believe in lists and goals, but I do. I am just.
Yeah, I feel like it's good for you to join because this kind of gives you another avenue just to, you know, chat with us. And
I think that this is good for me though too, because I do enjoy lists and goals. I need to know. I'm a planner. You know, it's funny because I'm also a fly by the seat of my pants person too, because if I learned a long time ago, my mother-in-law said to me, a long time ago when my kids were small, she said, you know, if you can do two things, you can do one of two things. You can spend the entire day cleaning house and stressing over all the little things, or you can spend time with your kids and do the dishes later and do the laundry later. Now, I've taken that to an extreme in some ways, and I might have a lot of laundry left over and a lot of dishes in the sink. Okay. But I really do try to enjoy my kids. And I really try. Eric said this is going to be couples therapy.
I saw that.
I want to say something real quick, Monica, I want to speak to that just real quickly. It's just me and my husband. You would believe the dirty dishes that we can manage in there. And I try to stay on top of them. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes he pitches in and helps me too. Sometimes neither one of us do it. And I'm like, no, I'm not cooking. Did you see the damage we've already done in there? But I wanted to share with you. So my husband, and this sounds off tangent, but I'm bringing it back, I promise.
No.
We had a pest control company. And when I was in college, I would spray the inside of the house and he'd spray the outside. I was in everyone's homes. I'm telling you, the only people who had spotless, clean homes with no dishes in the sink were the elderly people that didn't even have kids that lived in the state. Like they didn't have children in their home, people visiting all the time. And they were the spotless houses, the people that had the most minimal activity, or the people who hired a housekeeper. It was one of those. Hey, George. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
I feel like I just need to have a kid that's going to grow up to be a housekeeper.
An electrician, a hairdresser. You got
a veterinarian. I need like construction guy, veterinarian, you know.
You just need a housekeeper.
I feel like it's not going to happen though. Not with the way I'm raising them at this point.
You like being veterinarian, so housekeeper is really the stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah, I don't mind that. But yeah, I think that I'm definitely, I've chosen definitely to spend time with my kids. And obviously I have a lot of different obligations. So now as my kids are older, I'm definitely on the phone. I am definitely working because I have a small business that I run. When we have beef that comes in or pork that we're dealing with, I'm on the phone constantly trying to sell. Like right now I've got piglets that are for sale. So I'm dealing with people for sales and so I'm always on. So I'm really trying to make sure that I am mindful. And it's funny because people always say, you're always on your phone, but how do you miss my call? Or how do you miss this? I'm actually not. I take my phone. My phone's always on silent. It drives my kids and Eric crazy, but my phone is always on silent because I don't want to hear your call. If I need to hear you, I'll check. I will check for you. I check my phone on my time. And so that's one of the things that I've really purposed is to check on my time. And I feel bad because there's these beautiful chats that are going on in private chats and things. I come in and I'm like, okay, good. And then I check to make sure no one's hurt and people are okay and they're healthy. And then I just close the chat up and throw it back in my pocket and I move on with my afternoon.
Yep.
And in the evening, I try to catch up and be me and check in and be like, hey, are you okay? Hi, how's it going? Hey, oh my gosh, I read all this. I'm sorry. I'm just creeping. I wasn't trying to creep earlier. I just wanted to clear the notification that there was something going on and make sure that everybody was cool. So that's my way of doing it. But that's got to be, I have to do that because if I don't, I'm going to be attached to this.
That's right.
not attached to my commitments, which are my kids and my husband.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Real quick, I want to say hi to Garden Table with Heather Lynn. Thank you for joining us. Hey there, Christy over at Yarn Barf. And Ark Wildman, thank you for coming in. We so appreciate y'all hopping in to join us. Oh, Mr. Boots and Bounty. Hello there, Stephen. And hi, Life with Linda and Chuck. Oh my gosh, loving y'all's channel, by the way.
I know.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
so
He
cute.
cracks me up.
Oh, that's another live.
Yeah, he's funny.
And I love what Eric said. Family
Yep.
first. We would definitely want the relationship with our kids more than a clean house.
Licensed to ill.
I figured out how to do that. Yeah, isn't that awesome? And I agree with that. That was what I always felt like too when the kids were at home. But I didn't have 8 children, so Monica, I want to hear from you. And I'm sure other people have thought this that know about y'all having, 8 kids. You have the ranch and the business associated with that. And correct me if I'm wrong. Don't you have another small business that you operate?
Yeah, I run a little direct sales business. I just do like 31. Like, people sell like Color Street and they do all the direct sales. So I run a 31 company. I run a 31 business. I'm a director, so I'm in the top 3% of the company. And I have a team under me. I know I was so excited when I went to this conference a few weeks back and they were like, if you're here, you're the top 3%. And I was like, excuse me. Okay.
Yeah. So I know this isn't just about this business, but what is this 31 thing?
So it's just a small business. It's we sell bags and totes and just ways to organize your life, which is kind of cool because, like my little organizer right here, 31, like little,
very cool
wood trays, home decor, things like that. And so I have, back when I first got married, when Eric and I were young, I did substitute teaching. I always wanted to be a teacher, and I got my 2-year degree, and I decided I was going to substitute. And then I had my son, and I was like, I'm not going to go do this anymore. I literally survived a half a day in high school teaching as a substitute after I had my son. He was 6 months old. Okay. I went and there it is, my 31. Yeah, that's 31.
Thank you, Lisa.
Welcome.
But I decided back then that I didn't want to I liked staying home. I didn't need to work outside the home, but I wanted to do something else. So I went and tried, and I joined Party Light. That was a candle company back in the 90s.
I remember.
Party Light. It was fun, Party Light. So then after I did that, I was like, okay, well, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm not really making money. It's just for me. And Eric says to me every time, I support you in whatever you choose. And if you feel like you're doing this because you want to make money, then don't. This is my responsibility to earn the money for the house. And if you need to go to work, then we'll have a conversation. But this is my responsibility, and I take that on, and I want you to stay home with him. That's your responsibility. So that's how we build our marriage. And I was like, okay, great. So when I was getting ready to have my daughter, I was like, I really want something else. He's like, well, what is it? And I said, I want to do Tupperware. And so I started selling Tupperware. And so for 3 years, I was a Tupperware lady, and I didn't really do much with it, but I loved it. And my friends had parties and I had a blast. And so I stopped doing that. And then years and years and years passed, and I always supported all my friends with their small businesses. My people, most of my friends thought I sold Scentsy because my sister sold it. And I was always like, have a Scentsy party, Scentsy. Scentsy. Want your house to smell good, right? Yeah. And so it's always been about, if someone is doing something and you love it, support it. Like if I go to Kohl's and there's an 80% off sale, you better believe I'm going to come home and be like, y'all, sale, Kohl's, they're selling this, this, and this. I'm a share type of person. If I like something, I'm sharing it with you. That's awesome. And so a couple years ago, I had a friend have a 31 party, and she was like, this is so much fun. I want to have a party. I really like this stuff. I can use it. I need laundry baskets for my kids. I need to get organized with this. I need some bins. I need some totes to carry my groceries. And so she's like, have a party. And so I did. And then, I started selling it right after. The one lady was like, you should sell it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't really like to sell things. She's like, but you're really good at it. I'm like, nah. She's like, well, just remember, when you sell stuff, it's not about selling. It's about sharing what you like with others.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Lord worked me a little bit, and now I just love it. And I like sharing with people what I do. So that's my thing. I do parties and things like that, and I just love it.
Awesome. Hey, if you give me the link, I will put it down in the description for this video. I'd like to check that out myself. And real quick, I want to say hi and welcome to Gail's Southern Living.
Hi, Gail.
And Dusty Goat Homestead. Thanks, y'all, for joining us.
So I had a question, if that's all right. A couple things. So number one, most of you know Monica from Bland's Promised Land Ranch, but go over and check out her channel if you don't know her and Eric, and make sure to check out their content. They have amazing stuff. They're a huge part of this community. So you'll never find two more people that are loyal. Trust me.
They're awesome.
And so that's why we have Monica up here, because they have, a large family. She runs a business with 31. They run the family business with the farm and everything like that. She runs the family.
And Eric works full time. He has a full time job outside of this house.
Wow, I did not know that part of it.
Yep. Yeah, he's up by out of the house by 6:30 in the morning, and he gets home maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. So he's gone 10 to 12 hours sometimes.
And homeschooling, and she homeschools folks. So this is all
8 children.
Yeah.
So different curriculums for 8 children.
Sure. This year I have homeschool. Well, I have all different grades right now. So I have high school, middle school, and elementary school. Mm-hmm.
That is awesome.
So what I want you to think about is some of the things that Monica, from a goal setting perspective is, number one, sometimes we take things on all together, and I'm hearing you say you delegate.
Mm-hmm. I delegate a lot.
Yeah. And so talk a little bit about that and how that helps you out.
So I learned that from Eric. So Eric is an amazing leader. He's a great husband, first and foremost, but he is an amazing leader. He has been reading leadership stuff since we were young. And again, we got married when we were 18 and 19 years old. And back in 2002, when we were young, we only had 2 children. He left his job full time, and his full time job with full benefits and everything, and did full time ministry work. And when he did that, it was such a growing experience for us as a couple, because he really learned how to be a leader. He was working in the church, and we were working. Obviously, I wasn't working another job, and he was learning how to be a true leader. And not only just a man of God, but a leader in the home and outside of the home. And I think that was a really awesome time where God grew him and taught him how to be a leader in the workplace as well. And so when he went back into the workplace, God put him in the same exact job, by the way. We left for 2 years.
Wow.
And when it was time for him to go back into a new job, God said, here you go. I have that spot open for you. It's been held open. Would you like to come back? Awesome. And he went right back into the same company and started with the same benefits.
Oh, wow.
Came back right into it. It was amazing. I mean, it was such a huge blessing. And so he's a leader, and he's been teaching me for years. Monica, you can't do everything. Mm-hmm. You have to use the children and teach them how to be adults. Mm-hmm. They're children, but if you don't grow them into adults, they're going to be children forever. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what he's really been teaching me, as well as the Lord's been teaching us as we go, that if we don't teach these children to do big things, hard things, and real life things right now, they're not going to know how to do these things when they're adults.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we have 2 adult children right now. Our oldest got married in May. And when we moved to Texas when he was only 14. And so he didn't really he loves country living. He loves this lifestyle, but he didn't really embrace it the way the rest of my kids did. He worked at a feed store when he got a job finally. And now he works at a gas company, works at a propane company, and he loves his job. And he is learning to be a leader in that company. He's learning to move up. He wants to make progress. And I feel like that's successful to me because he is a great husband. I've watched him lead his wife in only the short period of time they've been married. And so I'm learning I'm learning more that by me delegating different tasks to these children, even if they say, I can't do that, or I'm not good at that, it's really teaching them how to take on leadership roles in different positions in their life. And so in the morning when we wake up, the first thing I'm like, you guys in charge of your breakfast. I mean, the 5-year-old can make his own breakfast. The 5-year-old, he's my youngest. He can make himself a sandwich from start to finish. He can make himself soup if he needs to. Now, he doesn't use the microwave, even though he can. He's kind of shortish. He's small. But the children are in charge of their own breakfast for the most part. I'm like, find something to eat. I'm busy. I'm doing this. when it's time for, like right now, everybody was outside finishing up the animals because we kind of got a late start. We were working on some schoolwork first thing. I grabbed some kids. I grabbed a couple books and I said, you get your breakfast. We're doing math because I knew I had some things to do this afternoon. So I said, come over here. Let's work now. We don't have a set time. We do school. It's more like, hey, we need to get X, Y, and Z done. Let's work on it. And so we do it. And then we move on. I have a couple kids that need breaks. And so we give them breaks. You're getting antsy, go outside, go jump on the trampoline, go do something. But when it comes to taking care of the animals on the farm, it is about delegation for sure. Our farm, our ranch only works because we have the amount of people that help and that do it all together with us. I mean, Eric and Luke did it by themselves for almost 2 weeks. We're going to say it's 10 days really, but I left them for months. But 2 people can do it. It can be done without, all of us, but not done as well as it's done with all of us. And so like right now, my daughter, I have 2 kids. I have the 17 and the 11-year-old that run rabbits. The 13-year-old takes care of the pigs. He gets help sometimes if he needs help with extra things. The 7-year-old is in charge of taking care of the turkeys and all the other poultry. My 9-year-old is in charge of kind of cleanup crew. He comes and helps behind if people need to open gates, things like that. That's because he just kind of broke his arm. So he's on a little less detail. And the 5-year-old's in charge of making sure the dogs are fed and watered every day, every night. So everyone has a job. When they come inside, they have chores. I don't work my kids to death, but they know if it's time to clean up, dad comes home, it's time to clean up. Everybody has something to do. You have a zone you're in charge of, and you're trying to make sure that area is tidy so that we all can function and work together. Because to be honest with you, if Eric comes home and he's had a rough drive, it's going to be a rough hour right after he gets home because he's going to come blowing in and be like, what's up? I've been working all day. What you guys been doing? I mean, it's real. That's real life. And so by us being able to delegate different chores, excuse me, and different opportunities to grow, you get better at those things. And I just told my 5-year-old that today. He was practicing his numbers and he's a lefty. So he struggles with writing numbers right now. And I said, look at that. You did such a great job. And he's like, no, Mom, it's not good. And I was like, it is amazing. And you know why? It's because you've practiced and you've done it more and more. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And he was like, yeah, that's like when I was feeding the dogs the other day. And he told me a story about how he was doing his chores and he was really good at it now because he knows how much scoops to give. And but you're building the confidence, even though it's a chore, even though it's a job. It's as trivial as giving a dog food, but he was excited because he knows what to do and how much to do it. And he's responsible for caring for that part of our house. So I delegate and it makes my life a lot easier because otherwise I would probably just lay in bed curled up and pretend like my life didn't happen.
I can imagine. Do you have a big board somewhere that has tasks listed or anything like that? Or is it just verbal?
So every kid knows what they're in charge of. We delegated zones years ago when we first moved in. We said, okay, you're in charge of the kitchen. Abigail's in charge of the kitchen. All the kids delegate, they all know their chores. They all have they know what chores need to be done. Now, Eric is amazing. And his job at work in his work life is to he runs high-rise buildings. So he runs a crew that manages hundreds of thousands of square feet of tenants and spaces that have to work. And so it has to function and has to function well. So when he comes home, he likes to create a punch list for us. So he has a punch list for his guys at work and he has a punch list. So we have a wall that is a chalkboard in our kitchen. And Eric is amazing at putting up a list. Now, Lisa's laughing because I've said in a private chat before, but I can get a little salty sometimes. And my husband is amazing. He's amazing. And he will make this beautiful giant list of things to do. And it's good when he gets his chalk and he's like, he's a lefty, sorry. He's like writing it up. He's writing it up. And he makes this list. And sometimes it's a good, solid list. Sometimes it's an angry list because he's like, nothing's been done. We have all this to do. And he does it.
That is awesome.
If he angry list writes, usually that's when I get a little salty and I'm like, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I'm I'm so mean. I'm sorry, Eric. I love you so much. But sometimes I just get salty and I'm like, I'm not doing it because he just angry bird all that. Like, we do stuff, but that's just me and that's my heart. And that's where the Lord has to work on me sometimes.
Yeah.
But we do have a big list. And then the kids follow that. It's a really big list of outside chores and just things that they know that, hey, this wasn't accomplished last weekend. These are tasks that have to be done. Yeah, Eric saw it.
I saw it. I was waiting.
But I will say that during the week, if I notice some things haven't been done, Eric's getting ready to head home from work. I'm like, look, y'all, Dad just left work. We haven't done anything. We've been, getting work done inside today, but we've been doing, schoolwork took over. We've got to get the chores done. And I'll make a quick little list on my whiteboard on the fridge. And I make a little whiteboard list and I say, dishes now, sweeping now, vacuuming now, put some candles out, Scentsy, whatever you need to do. Throw it in and make the house smell good. So when Dad walks in, he doesn't get a whiff of, I don't know, trash or dog paws or, kids steak. I don't know. There's a lot of smells in a farmhouse. And I wanted to hit him with, this is a nice place to be. So we try to do that, but we do have a big board and he delegates and it's nice. It's a good way to organize our thoughts and our kind of weekend chores. But during the week, the kids know you have certain tasks you have to do and it gets easy to get done. So yeah.
And so as far as organizing you guys' goals, does it happen on that big board or do you said you have a planner? Is that one of your tools that you use?
I do. So I have a notebook for the ranch that I keep track of all of our animal stuff and all of our animal care. And I do have a separate one. It's just, YouTube, I call it our YouTube ranch book. And it's just a composition notebook. And Eric and I will list a lot of our ideas. At the end of the season, probably in actually November, we said, okay, this is the holiday season. People are going to be putting out videos, this and that. So one of the things we wanted to do was we made a list of like 10 different video ideas that we had. And we started filling in when we were going to do them. And so we started kind of saying, okay, because Eric is such a great planner. He's like, I want to do this video by this date. I want to do this video by this date. And it was a loose list of here's our goals. And so Eric even said to me last week, he's like, okay, we need to sit down and have a conversation. We need to figure out, he's like, you want to get to 2,000 subscribers this year? Because I know he thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, yeah, I do. He's like, what have you done? I'm like, nothing. He was like,
you guys are awesome.
We need to do something. We need to do something.
What I'm hearing is that you guys are really good at keeping each other accountable. Whereas my husband and I, we could totally let each other slide. That's all right. know?
Yeah. I was going to say, I think, Monica, back to around the hay bale, right? We get that text on Sunday, right? About, okay, send me X, Y, and Z. And it's like, what do we all do? We all go, and we know it's coming.
Yeah.
We know it's coming, but what do? We go, and it's a request for information. And so, but the reason why I bring that up is coming back to the goal setting, right? And managing everything is that simple thing of Casey asking for that stuff is actually making us more organized.
It is. And Eric does that. He does that for us. And so he's really good at keeping that in check. And he will, just with like our YouTube in general, because he has a secular job that is not as fun for him. I'm choosing my words very carefully here. It's a lot more pressure. And so YouTube has been an outlet for him to share the blessings of the Lord and to share the knowledge that God has given us because we've been through this. Lisa and I had a conversation last night. She'd seen a video and she asked a question about it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I saw the comments and she asked me, what do you think? I'd like your, and so I left her this 8-minute message, but it was important because I wanted to get my thoughts out and share with her. Yeah, there's some credibility to this, obviously, but with experience comes so much wisdom and knowledge. And the more you can glean from other people that have that hands-on is super important. And, Eric's really good at keeping me in check and asking me, okay, so where are we at with this? What are you doing with this? And, several times over the winter season so far, my 31 business has kind of starting to take a dive. And I hadn't been doing parties. And he's like, "Are you still doing the 31?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am. I just been letting other things kind of get in my way." And I just didn't put it at the forefront of my head because YouTube has been a lot in front of me, and it's been a lot. I've been doing a lot more with YouTube. And so YouTube got pushed in front of the business that was actually making me money and helping out. And YouTube is a great relief for him. And so because of that, he keeps that at the forefront of what we're doing. And I appreciate that because I love it. I love getting on here and having conversations. And if this could be my job, I would do this.
Yeah.
Full time. I think a lot of us would.
Yeah.
But it's not, and I have to make sure that I am really focused on that. And he's really good at keeping me in check that way and helping me prioritize. And I have a planner that I kind of check in with every day, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm physically looking at my planner, because if it's in front of me, then I have my goals. And in the top of my month, I said, the other day there was a big bonus being handed out, and I said, "Do you want an extra 4K?" And I put that at the top of my list. Do you, for myself, I've asked myself every single day I look at my planner, do you want an extra 4,000? Because if you do, then you need to do X, Y, and Z, which is why I love your goal setting, because it talks about what is your goal, and ideally my goal would be in my small business to accomplish that, to promote so that I can get that 4K, because I'm a carrot chaser and I want that tangible goal. And my purpose would be, because why not? 4,000 would be extra in my pocket. And
Why
it can
not?
be to finance a trip this summer. There's a lot of things I could do with it. And then my immediate steps, and I started thinking about that immediately. I'm like, well, my immediate steps are, I'm booking more parties. I am keeping my mouth out there and opening my mouth to more of my friends, in that area. And I'm showing up in my VIP circle more. And so that was my business goal. And so when you start talking about this, and I was joking with Lisa, I'm like, that 7F thing, I'm like really bad. I don't know. I had heard some of it, and I applied it immediately to my 31 because I had already started doing that in my business meeting that we went to 3 weeks ago. They actually already had us doing this basic principle with our business. And so I was like, oh, that's easy. I can do that. So I can just do that with everything else. And so it made sense, with my family. I've broken that into kind of more of a smaller, more manageable, like monthly thing, because for the family, well, I broke mine into kind of a quarter for family, because my goal for the family for this quarter is to really make sure that everyone is on top of their schoolwork and getting it done, because Abigail graduates in May. So for family, I put my daughter in the top priority on this one, because she's graduating and I want to make sure that I am available so that we can make sure her schoolwork is finished and complete, and she feels prepared when she finishes her high school career with me, because I don't want them to ever leave me feeling unprepared.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody feels unprepared for things. No one's ever really going to feel prepared for college or whatever. But I want her to know what her goals are for her year next year, because she may not go straight into a college right now. She doesn't have a college on her sights, but she's part of that family. She's one of my family goals, is to have her situated so she knows where she needs to be. So I really, I like the way you're doing this. So
Tammy, if you'll share the screen real quick.
Okay, you got it. I homeschooled our girls and loved it. And one of them, they even gave me a hard time. I wanted to go to high school when they were in the 10th grade. And one of them came back to me and said, "You know what, Mom, I feel like I'm wasting my time." Because, with homeschooling, it doesn't take 8 to 3:30 or whatever your kids go to school for. The reason it's that long in a public school, for everybody who doesn't know, and I know one time I saw the Vineyard Chicks online, and somebody made a comment about why aren't they in school. When you homeschool, it's not like that. The reason it takes all day in public school is because there's the recess, there's the lunch, there's honestly a lot of wasted time in just indoctrinating our children. And I'm not, hey, I'm not making a comment as to whether or not that's good or bad. I have my own opinion, but that is what's going on in the classroom in a public school. You do not need that much time for homeschooling. You need, for us, I would say, it was around 3 hours. I don't know what it is for you, Monica. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. My girls are 26 and 27, but it didn't take that long.
Well, I think for me too, because I do have such a large
Different curriculums too.
Well, see, and that's one of the things that Lisa's touching on is, boundaries, delegation, planning, and focus. So I've had to create boundaries too on what I'm able to do and what I'm available to do, because I have people coming on Wednesdays. We have Awana Club. So we go to our church on Wednesday nights, and I am the commander, which means I run that. So during the week, I've had to create a lot of boundaries in that, because I can't. The other day, the lady that I'm in charge of, I'm in charge of the Awana clubs, and she said to me the other day, I really need a Sunday school person. I really need someone to lead the Sunday school stuff, and then she was like, would you like to take this home? And I'm like, no. I was like, I love you, but I cannot take this on. Like, I cannot. I can't do this, because on Wednesdays, we do Awana club stuff. That's our day. I plan it. I have to get it situated, run it. And then on Fridays, we have drama club and a homeschool co-op. I have to know exactly. I have to know my limits and set boundaries for what I can physically and mentally handle.
Yeah. You sound almost tapped out. Like I can't imagine you putting anything else on your plate.
And see, Eric is good at keeping me in check on that one, because if he wasn't here saying, Monica, you can't, then I would just be like, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, let's do it. And then I run around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I'm not good to anybody.
Yeah.
Well, and Monica, I think that goes back to, if you think about it, it's sort of like Eric was doing with you what you were doing with me last night, right? So when you think about it, we've got information coming at us. And I recently said this somewhere that, it was on Sandy's live last night. You look around, you do your research, right? So my example was, all the research told me 16% protein for chicken layers, right? 16. That's all there was. Guess what? They're looking terrible. They need 18% because it's winter. I didn't have that problem last year. They were fine. So it's like you feel like you have egg on your face, so to speak, right? Because you didn't know that. But that's the same thing as you and I talking last night about the issue with whether to heat lamp or not certain animals. And it's all the information says heat lamp. Yet we know heat lamps are dangerous. So it's taking that information that is putting us on overload, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to stray from that. But I think knowing that what is right and works well in the wild versus, what you really need to do. And I think that's the thing. Sorting through all that can be really stressful.
And it can feel like you're the bad person. Cause I feel like when we did full-time ministry work, we were always saying yes to everybody because we felt obligated. I felt obligated. I felt, well, if I work for the church, I have to always say yes. And I think that's how a lot of people get burned out. They think, well, if I am doing this, I'm here because I care about everybody, but I should say yes to everyone. I can't. I can't. And I've got kids coming at me from all directions during the day. I have a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old. I've got the 11 and 13-year-old, and everybody's like wanting my attention. And my daughter said to me the other day, yeah, I needed your help with something, but I didn't want to bother you because I knew you were busy. And I was like, no, please don't do that. You have to feel free to come to me and say, Mom, I need to get on your list. When you're done with X, Y, and Z, I need to be talked to. I need to have a conversation real quick because we have things that we have to do. And so I want my kids to feel like they can do that and not feel like I am so overwhelmed with them and with everything else in life. Yeah. I want them to know that they can come to me no matter what. That this, whether it's YouTube or whether it's 31 or whether it's farm business, they can come to me because they're my priority. And I can say no to something else so I can say yes to my kids and yes to my family.
So actually, Danny brought up a good point, right? And first of all, Ann Dale is here, but she's so busy working on her goals. She's working, listening, laughing, and talking to y'all in her kitchen. But Danny brought up a good point. The guilt of saying no is huge. So, I've had to do a lot of stuff on this because I had to say no a lot in my work, right?
Yeah.
And for me, there was no guilt, right? Because you have to step back from the feelings of it. The reality of it is I can't help somebody else if I can't help myself.
Yep.
So can you talk about that, Monica?
Well, so I have some things going on girl wise that basically every other month or so, they just take me out. Physically, I am in pain. I'm just in a lot of pain. And so the guilt of sitting and not doing something during the day is real. Thankfully, Eric will say, how are you doing? And I'm like, no, I had a pain day today. And he's like, okay. Now I'm managing that more and more as I'm learning more about healthy things and herbs and like CBD oil and things like that. So I'm trying to manage that more, but it still happens. And there are days where I just say to the kids, hey, come into the living room. We're just going to sit here. And I curl my feet up under me and I put a blanket over me and I eat my food in the living room and we sit and we watch YouTube channel stuff. We watch the videos on whatever I know that the topic we're dealing with. If we're dealing with archaeology, we watch pyramid videos.
Oh, awesome.
And I will school from my living room because for me, that is what I can do that day. I have to know physically what I'm capable of and mentally what I can handle. Because if I don't, I'm not going to be good for anybody else later. And so my kids, they think they're like, yes, mom's just, she's letting us just. And I don't think they quite understand that it's me just trying to really take care of myself so that I can take care of them better. And I do that, every couple months or so it happens, or every month, depending on the situation, depending on what my body's going through. And we'll just take a day where we just do. I have to say though, the guilt of having my in-laws live next door. At any given time, my father-in-law, mother-in-law will pop in, and feeling the guilt of sitting there, which they don't have any idea what's going on. But when my father-in-law comes walking in the door and I'm just sitting on the couch eating a tuna fish sandwich or, watching a movie with the kids or a show with the kids in the middle of the afternoon, I'm like, he thinks we're just playing around. He probably doesn't think we're doing any schoolwork at all. He probably, and so I immediately start to attack myself as to what he's thinking, even though he didn't say a word. But I go down that road. So, I go down that road and that's a hard thing. And I've had to teach myself, I don't care. I can't care what they think or other people think what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is right. I know what I'm doing is working for us. And I want to go with it.
Right. I mean, they do that at schools too. Remember?
Yeah. Look, I substitute taught in a public school and we had videos all the time. I mean, I taught physical science and we used Bill Nye, the science guy, before when I thought he was credible and relatable. I use Bill Nye, the science guy, all the time. I've changed my opinion on Bill Nye. Okay. I'm just going to say it. Okay. But he's got a lot of good information. Okay. That he teaches. And I used Bill Nye, the science guy, as a way to get my high school seniors who didn't want to be in that class because it was one of their floof classes. They just like, well, crap, we just need an extra science class. We're going to get in this class with this lady. She's a full-time substitute. She's not going to do anything. Well, no, I had to teach and I was their teacher. I was 8 months pregnant teaching these kids that I was only a few years older than. And several of them were pregnant with me. It was very interesting. But we used Bill Nye, the science guy. I was like, hey guys, we're talking about, such and such. Let's watch Bill Nye and see what he says. They were like, we're watching TV. And I'm like, heck yeah, we are. So I have a lot of that same style teaching. I mean, if I find something out there, have I watched a scary snowman or angry carrot? I have not, but I will check it out because I'm always looking for really good YouTube follow-ups with what we're teaching. I was talking to my 11-year-old the other day about segregation and how that happened and what it looked like. And he was like, well, I knew there was a lot of bad stuff, but I didn't know it was like this. And I'm like, no, yeah, it actually was like this. And he was like, well, that's weird. And so we watched videos yesterday on segregation and how it went from this to this. And he was shocked. But I try to find as many real life examples as possible and not just a reading book and a textbook that he's like, oh yeah, okay. Because it's one thing when you're reading it, it's another thing when you see it.
Yeah. And you think, how did anybody think like this? How did people do that? but they did. I mean, you can ask the same questions about what took place in Germany. It's
Yep.
group
And that's the
think
thing.
is a scary thing. I think
Yeah.
that's what it's that group think, and it's
Yeah.
scary stuff. Did you
But
see the comment that I just shared from Creekside Maples?
yeah, it's true. You put a lot of time into ministry work, and you walk on eggshells, and you pour out on everybody else, and then you have nothing left in your cup. And that's important to what Lisa was saying about boundaries, delegating, you know, all those things, planning, focus, balance, all of it together. If you're not able to take care of yourself, you have nothing left to give. And so it's really important to focus and goal plan, because if you goal plan, not by saying you have empty your cup, the cup is empty. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. If you don't goal plan for yourself, then you can't goal plan for your family. You can't goal plan for everybody else. If you don't take time to plan how you're going to focus your energy and your time, then you don't have anything left for anybody else.
And don't complain then, because you've allowed it. You've given permission.
Yes.
Yeah. It's true. Yep.
Hey, at Tina Ladybug and MB Heritage Farms. And I know there's other people that have joined that I didn't say hi to, but hi everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. We're at 8 minutes till noon. Does anybody have any questions for Monica or any of us up here in regards to goal planning or scheduling time, how to say no?
How to say no? That's a big one.
Setting your priorities, because that's what it is, right, Monica? You really got to know what is the most important and take stock of that on a regular basis. Just check in.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, we have a large family of a lot of kids. When I get up in the morning, the kids get their stuff done. We get chores done. I try to, you know, make sure they get organized with chores and with schoolwork. And then whatever time we have left, we hang out, we play, we talk, we watch a video, we sit and have lunch together. We curl up on the couch and we watch a fun show. I don't know how many, you know, times I've watched DuckTales from when I was a kid, or my kids have watched every Full House episode from the, you know, 90s. I mean, we sit and we just enjoy each other, or we go outside and, you know, we work on other projects. I'm sure we could probably be going with just work. But I'm not doing that to my kids. So emergency family planning. You mean like drills?
Yes. Prepping.
Yeah. So we actually,
your family's taken care of.
Yeah. So we actually do. So I do a lot of prepping and stuff that I can. I have the closet behind me that's filled with some of my preps and things. And when I have extra money coming in, I try to use that on preparedness things. One of the things we did do in bad weather, we actually have a kid that's in charge of our safety closet. So my 13-year-old has storm anxiety. So when we have bad storms here in Texas, tornadoes is a thing. I found that knowledge is power. And when you have that knowledge about what is happening with storms and how to master that, how to know what's coming, you feel more powerful in that situation. And so go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just wanted her to hit that comment. Thank you. Go ahead.
And so that's the thing. When my 13-year-old started feeling that anxiety and you could see his fears, I had him in charge of the storm closet. So if there's bad weather coming, I say, hey, Jonathan, have you watched the news? I mean, have you watched your phone? Did you get storm alerts? We're going to have a severe weather week. Let's do this. And so he immediately goes in, he gets the storm closet ready, which is my master bedroom closet. And he does the preparations for that. We went to a storm spotter education class a few years ago because I want to know about this. So both him and I went to Storm Spotter, and we feel more comfortable now in our home during storms because we had that knowledge. So the more we feel anxious or things, we try to embrace that and kind of encourage the positivity side of it, because you can't control bad weather, but you can be prepared for it and not be anxious about it. As well as when we first moved here, we realized that we now are allowed to have weapons in our home. And in Maryland, it wasn't so much. Well, we live further enough away. And I was like, what happens if someone comes on our property? What are we going to do? So we had several drills where we had Eric walking into the property, and he said, now I'm going to be a stranger that has now hopped the fence, has come onto the property. What do you do? My children know exactly what to do. The drills were, you let the dogs out, you lock the doors, you go to a safe place, you make a phone call, you open the safe, and in the safe is what we need. And so only certain people have the code for the safe. But our kids know where to go, how to be in place. And so we are fully prepared if a stranger comes onto our property that is not welcomed and the dogs don't take care of it. So if the dogs can't handle that, we have safety prepared. We plan, we have those moments where we have drills to prepare because we don't live far, but we live in a community. And if some crazy person wanted to come on our property, it would be very dangerous for them. Put it that way. Because we have prepared for that. That's one of the first things we prepared for here. So we do family drills. We do things like that. So yeah.
I just wanted to let you know I'm coming next week. Okay. Just so you know, ahead of time.
Just let me know. If you know me, you can call me ahead of time. I'll open the gate for you. If I don't open the gate for you, there's a problem.
Wow.
That's my rule. When Jake and Ann came, I was like, hey, give me a heads up. We'll open the gate. Because we put the dogs away. We make sure the dogs are introduced to them. If people come, we say, you need to let us know. We'll open the gate. Yeah. But we've had friends of ours. We actually had a friend just last month put his arm. He was dropping a bag off over the gate. A friend. Our dogs know this gentleman, this young kid. Yeah. Put his arm over the gate. My dog jumped up and bit his arm. And I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm an EMT. It's fine. I'm like, well, yeah, I knew you were an EMT. So he got bit. He put his arm over the fence. You don't do that.
That's how our dogs are. They're great with us, but we have the pit mixes. So Bear, if anyone's seen my newest video, that's our lab pit mix. And then we have a big white one that is named Draco that is just huge. And he's a doll. He lays on the floor and lets the little babies crawl all over him. I mean, he is so sweet. But anybody else, we were at their fence line talking with their neighbor, and he was trying to bite the guy. Like some dogs are just like that, and it's actually a good thing, you know.
Well, think about it. He's doing his job, and he's setting a boundary. Yep. You don't belong here.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm doing my job. My job is to say you don't belong here.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. So it's like the dog knows to say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they know who their people are.
There was a person that said, Monica, are you prepared for a grass fire or a forest fire also? So we have preparations for fire in our home. Outside of our home, we have had a grass fire, actually. We were only here for about 6 months. I've definitely been scarred since I've been here. We were here for about 6 months, not even that. And it was actually January. It was actually this time. It was January 26th or 27th of 2015. We had only been here for about 5 months. And my father-in-law and brother-in-law and husband were outside burning the night before. We left to take my son to the urgent care. We came home that morning from urgent care, and I'm coming down the street. I'm like, look, Eric, somebody's burning something. I mean, we burned last night, but you think your dad's burning again? He's like, nah, no, it's Sunday morning. Why would he be burning? So everybody was inside the house, and behind the house in our pasture was a raging fire.
Oh my goodness.
The embers had not been put out all the way the previous night.
Yep.
And the wind kicked up and took the fire from the back of our pasture quite a ways up, where we're trying to have a build starting next to our home. And so thankfully, we ran over, we had water coming. We brought water from the retired forest fighter. We came water from the pond. We brought from the tank over to, and everybody got shovels, and we were able to stomp out the edges. And so we had never prepared for that. But we knew how to handle it and that situation. And thankfully, we had a lot of people that were able to stomp out the edges and catch what was the fire that was creeping closer and closer to our home. So we were not prepared, but we knew how to do it at the time. Thankfully, God gave us wisdom.
I got to say, you guys have some great water storage. And it's an older video, but if anybody's, lives in a place like I do, or like Monica and Eric do, where water is an issue, you need to go look for that video. Matter of fact, I'll put that link to that video down in the description below too, because I think their setup is a really good one. We kind of here, we follow that rule of 2 is 1 and 1 is none, and just try to have everything. And it's a regular conversation that my husband and I have about, how are we doing on our preps? What do we have the most of? What do we have the least of? And, is there anything that came up this week that we used? If you want to know what you need, just think about what you use and speak to that. And sometimes you're going to identify a weak spot in what you have stored up for your family. And now is the time to definitely get prepared in that area.
Exactly.
Well, it looks like we're at time, Tammy.
We are. Anybody have any last minute questions before we wrap this up?
Tornadoes. Yeah, we're prepared for that. We've got my tornado kid. He's ready. He knows what to look for. We watch. We have emergency radios. We are prepared. That is a thing that's real here. Severe weather is definitely a real thing for us here. And as soon as severe weather season hits, we get all the baseball helmets you can muster up, stored up in my closet in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Eric will go into our bedroom closet. And he's like, he goes in there to get dressed in the morning, our walk-in closet. And he's like, and it's tornado season because there's 6 helmets here in the closet and extra pillows. And
yep.
And shoes. We always have shoes. So we are definitely prepared. And the benefit of homeschooling is that I can teach that as a class. And that is something that we've been teaching. So we have safety. Yeah, we have safety as part of our lessons that we do. And if it looks applicable and it's real world, you better believe my kids are learning it. Because again, I'm training them to be adults in the real world, not just to be little kids living for today. I obviously want them to have fun.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to train them so that just because it's hard doesn't mean to go around it to find another way. Do the hard things, do the real things, because that's how life is. Life is hard. It's not easy.
Monica, that's so my parents moved out of state when I was 17 and I wasn't even old enough to get an apartment yet. But so I had no other family here in Arizona or anything. And I was on my own, and getting car insurance was like the most stressful thing for me. And I was an honor student. I was in your International Baccalaureate Advanced Placement classes.
Wow.
I wasn't a dumb bunny or anything, but the life stuff was never shared with me. I had to figure that out on my own. And thank God I met my husband when I was 19.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of a mess.
Bye, Uncle Al. Hope you feel better. Thank you. Fox Holler, if you're interested in coming up and talking about 7F goal setting, we will be on Yogi Hollow Farm, which is my channel, next week at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time to continue the discussion. And then Jackie Saylor, you said you had a question. We're out of time, but if you get it typed real quick, we'll take it. So the last question we'll take is Jackie Saylor. So Monica, why in the world would you leave beautiful Maryland to live in tornado-ridden Texas? You could have moved to the mountains of Maryland to start a ranch. I'm joking. You know her, though.
That's God. God did that. None of that was me. None of that was Eric. That was all Jesus. So, we have to take that one up with him. But I'm okay with it because I love Texas. Tornadoes and all. I don't love tornadoes, but I love Texas. So, yeah.
Diesel has decided the stream needs to end.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm excited. Thank you guys for having me. And I'm excited to see you guys on next Tuesday because I want to see how far your goals have come and who else, see what else
we will have Coupon Gail on next Tuesday on Lisa's channel. And
that's cool.
Fox Holler Homestead, reach out to me so I can get you scheduled in. I'd love to have you guys come on. And my email's on my about page. And I tell you what it is, but I'm afraid I'm going to get it wrong.
Well, or if Fox Holler wants to come on and talk about their goal setting and stuff, they're welcome to come up if there's time next week. I think that would be cool.
Yep, that's a good idea too.
I think a lot of people, I just want to make sure everybody understands.
I love that idea.
Yeah, because this is a little different than the lives everybody's used to.
Yeah.
Because we kind of really try to stay focused.
I consider it like a working meeting.
Sorry, we kind of went off topic with things, but there's
no, it's you know what? Hearing how other people do things, Monica, and how you manage the Bland's Promised Land Ranch and the business associated with that, right? The meat business that comes out of that, and all of the animals and the kids with homeschooling, and then your side business with the 31, which send me the link, Monica, so I can put that down below for you. Just hearing how you do all of that, and you do it joyfully and love that, Lisa. I love
thank you.
Just hearing how you do all that and you do it joyfully. And I feel like you're faith led and you really try to keep everything, everything covered. You try not to let things slip. That's what we all try to do. And you set such a wonderful example. So thank you for coming on here and sharing with all of us.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you two both. You're beautiful women. I'm just thankful to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And real quick, Gail, I will text you because Gail had a question. I'll text her.
Okay. Yep. Coupons and 7Fs.
Yeah. Basically saving money in the financial realm of the
Yes, and
7F.
Gail, I got some in the mail.
Yeah.
So, starting to see the fruition of my efforts thanks to you.
The fruition of your planned action, right?
Yes. Because under my finances was to try to do what coupon, save money. I'm not going to bring any more money in right now, but if I could save money, then I'm bringing more money. I'm getting more money staying in my pocket. And doing the couponing is one of the things I'm trying to do. So
thanks for being here, Monica. Everybody check out Bland's Promised Land Ranch for more adventures and management over there. And Monica can give you some good tips.
Eric will probably. He'll be whispering in my ear.
Like this.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everyone.
He's like, read the board, Monica.
I look forward to chatting with you all again next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a great week, and good luck with your 7Fs, everybody. Go and just read up on what you wanted to do and see what you might have taken one step closer to. Best wishes to all of you, and God bless.